This is the AM News, starting with flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, former President John Dramani Mahama, has lashed out at the current government for its unwillingness to cut down expenditure. This, he says, is affecting Ghana's debt situation both internally and externally. The former president stated that government's efforts in just focusing on revenue generation without addressing challenges of expenditure will yield a minimal result. Speaking to Joy News after a visit to the Assemblies of God Church at Ringway here in Accra, he reiterated his commitment to implementing his policies to deal with expenditure if given the nod in the December 7 elections. James Ishen has more in his report.
The former president admonished fathers to continue playing their roles irrespective of the current economic situation.
That they should persevere. We're celebrating Father's Day this year in not too conducive an environment. We all know what the financial crisis and the economic crisis have caused, and so a lot of families are struggling to keep things going. I'll just ask them to keep their heads up and that there are brighter days ahead. It's an election year. They should make the right choice.
On the state of the economy, he indicated that government efforts in just focusing on revenue generation without addressing challenges of expenditure will just yield a minimal positive result.
And I'm sure that if I do emerge as president, I have the experience to do the things that will turn this economy around and make Ghanaians smile again.
You've spoken about the financial crisis and also being the president. Now, when given the nod, we are now under the 75 IMF program. What are some of the measures you would want to put in place to make sure that we don't go back, and even for successive government?
When I announced the last IMF program, I said it will be the program to end all programs, and that it was my hope that we will not go into another IMF program ever again. Unfortunately, my prophecy did not come to pass. This government made many mistakes, and we find ourselves in this crisis again. They always attribute it to COVID-19 and all that, but we could see the signals even before COVID-19. One, we need to cut down expenditure. This government is not willing to cut expenditure. In crisis, you slash expenditure and increase revenues. All they're doing is increasing revenues, but without reducing expenditure. And that's why I've said we'll cut down the size of government, we'll reduce the number of ministers. We're going to eliminate all those wasteful projects, one village, one dam, and all those things that they've spent billions on, so that we can use that money in the more productive sectors to make the economy grow again.
On the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative, John Dramani Mahama said his government will expand investment in agriculture through supporting local farmers.
We'll use government's financial muscle to help indigenous Ghanaian companies. And so government will buy first from Ghanaian companies than import from outside. I think that if we do that, it will create more employment within our country. And then most importantly, we would invest in agriculture and agro-processing. We've never ever invested in the full value chain. We always give support to farmers to produce more, like Planting for Food and Jobs, MetaSIP. When I was there, we had the medium-term agricultural strategic investment plan. All those programs aim at the farmer to increase his production.
These policies, among others, according to the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, is key to transforming Ghana's economy in the long term, not to return to the International Monetary Fund for support. James Ishen's report for Joy News.
The Minister for Roads and Highways, Francis Asenso Boakye, has asserted that no government in Ghana's history has been able to achieve the feat Nana Addo-led administration has in the road sector. He said, apart from road infrastructure, this administration has also performed tremendously well in other areas like education, health, among others. The minister said this in Yendi when he paid a courtesy call on the overlord of Dagbon, Danyana Abukari II, as part of his working visit to the region. Martina Bugris reports.
Speaking at the Gbewa Palace in Yendi, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Francis Asenso Boakye, said he was impressed with the development of the area, calling on the people of Yendi to vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Alhaji Farouk Aliu Mahama to continue with the development.
Everybody can attest to the fact that the work that we have done, the Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahama administration has done in the area of roads and highways and bridges and interchanges. No other government has been able to do what we have done in the history of Ghana. Today, when I entered Yembi, then I realized that Yembi, you deserve the kind of road infrastructure that we are experiencing today. Also, the road infrastructure in the area of education, in the area of health, no government has performed better than the Akufo-Addo and Mahama.
The overlord of the Gbonyana, Abukari II, said the region has had its fair share of development, adding that the area has become attractive to investors.
The achievements of government in Dagbon and Ghana in general cannot be overemphasized. Dagbon is now a very attractive place for investors, tourists, etc. On behalf of the chiefs and people of the area, I wish to encourage government to bring more development projects which will meet the desires and expectations of the good people of Yendi and Dagbon as a whole. I wish to use this opportunity to appeal to government to speed up the ongoing road projects such as the Yendi Saboba Road, Yendi Cherpole Road, Bushego Karaga Nanton Tamale Road, Kumbungu Bulong Yampala Road, Tale Longbo Road, just to mention a few.
Now, management of Sweet Ghana Oil Extraction Company Limited is worried about the incessant attacks and killing of their workers by some members of the Asenso community in the eastern region. According to the operation manager for Sweet Ghana Oil Extraction Company Limited, Mr. Ramprakash, 3 people working for their company have been attacked and killed, while 2 of their heavy-duty equipment were burnt by unknown people in Asenso within a space of 1 year. Maxwell Kudeko has more in the following report.
The 3 people killed include a member of the Ochiman Environment Protection Task Force. Mr. Ramprakash indicated that compensation have been paid to every single land user within their operational zones, but some members of the community have resolved to make it inconvenient for them to operate. The company, according to Ramprakash, intends to acquire about 5,000 acres of land within the catchment area and build a processing plant that could create over 100 direct jobs and boost the local economy. Speaking to the media in Asenso, Mr. Ramprakash indicated all the attacks have been reported to the police, but no culprits have been prosecuted yet.
We are here to do business with the growth of the community and development of this area. More, like I said, there are another 2 or 3, out of which the second one was there's a team which came to attack some of our people. There's a team which came to attack some of our people, and they have got beaten. And unfortunate that following to that incident, we lost one of them. We approached the Uchehni's land protection unit, and with their support, we have started clearing again. And while they are doing also, twice there was an ambush where we lost one of their team members, very unfortunately, which was really alarming to us. I've been paying the compensation, definitely. If I should say the number of farmers, I think we have now planted somewhere close to 200 to 210 acres.
The Apepe Makwansohin Nanaba Kobenam told newsmen that the land was released to the company by the Ochihen, who is the Alodia title holder of all the lands in Ochiman. He said farmers and land users within the concession have been duly compensated. He fingered one Gertrude upon as the brain behind the killing of workers related to the company. He advised the community to support the operation of the company in order to create more jobs for the teeming unemployed youth in the area.
Sansabra na se obema nso ana wakaya kromfo na ejuma ba na se obia benye ejuma ni bia ya obi soro o se asase ne ya media individual ocheman nso ye individual asase ni nyina ya ocheman is 2 lands nti omu nyina mbo twi na mu ndi ejuma na echi na mbebu no nso nye ejuma ye chese ya pon aye kofi emu na obonfo ye rabi I find get rid of pon ono esuma ye because no already were press conference say oba mobilize e mo ne ye besie ni esan se o chema ni asase wo mpasue so ti ni week pepepe na mo bobo itu ogu ya so a ni pa ba ko firu ma me asa suprae nti asam no kwada police fu enim
Maswo Kudeko reports for Joy News.
In other stories, international direct selling company QNet is set to expand its support for children with disabilities in Ghana after a successful first phase of the Anopa project, which saw 14 beneficiaries qualifying for the World Deaf Swimming Championship in Brazil earlier this year. Children from 3 special schools in the central region are expected to benefit. Joy News editor Fred Smith caught up with the head of Rhythm, QNet's corporate social responsibility arm, during a recent visit to Malaysia. Here's his report.
The Anopa project, which stands for Agrone Obrapa, Play for a Better Life, focuses on using sport as a tool for social change, promoting inclusion and providing opportunities for children with disabilities. Over the last 3 years, the program has helped achieve notable successes, including enrollment of 300 children with disabilities in school, sensitization of nearly 400 parents through coaching support, and improved school retention for 1,300 children with visual and hearing loss. On my recent visit to Malaysia, where QNet is headquartered, I caught up with Santhi Periasamy, head of the company's corporate social responsibility arm, Rhythm Foundation, to discuss the project's successes and future plans.
We realized that at every step they were very compliant with the proposal that they had given us, and we received progressive reports from them. So we could see how they were actually walking their talk by providing the relevant training that they intended to motivate and empower these kids through sports. So a lot of these kids, were actually excelling in sports. When they excel in sports, it was doing other very good things to themselves. For example, building their confidence, and they were more eager to come to school, they were more eager to learn. So that was a successful project. We were also impressed with Anopa, because it is not even easy to work with children from mainstream. Here they were working with children, who had physical and, development disabilities. So we were impressed, and that's the reason why we are going on a second round with them.
So this project took place in which schools?
The first one?
Yes, the first one.
So that was with the Ghana International School for Inclusive School, and then Ghana School for the Deaf and Blind, which was also in Cape Coast. And there was one more school, I can give you the details after.
All right, so you're moving to the next phase now. So tell us what the plan is for this and which schools are.
So the next phase, right, so this is going to be the Jowulu School in Ghana itself, yes. In Accra itself, and Ghana National Inclusive School in Cape Coast, as well as the Aboon Special School in Cape Coast. So for the school in Accra, there basically you do not really get so many children with physical disabilities. So it's basically going to be support for academics, for vocational skills, for sports, and for capacity building for the teachers and the trainers. But for the other 2 schools, we are really looking at improving the infrastructure, the physical condition of the school, as well as providing them with all resources needed for teaching the visually and hearing impaired children. See, they are put together with children who are normal as well. So as I said, it's about equity and equality for all these kids. So for them, especially for those who are visually and hearing impaired, the basic gadgets that are needed, for them to be optimally learning in school is so very important, and that's missing. And today, if you look at developed countries and what is available for children of this nature, there is a big, vast difference. So it's a big gap that we may not be able to fill completely, but at least we should meet halfway. At least we should come halfway to be able to give that opportunity for every child in these schools, not just the privileged ones.
And when does it start?
We have already signed the agreement, so we should be, kick-starting this project anytime now.
The partnership between QNet and the Anopa project has been pivotal in achieving these results. QNet's support has enabled the project to reach more children, providing them with the necessary equipment, training, and opportunities to participate in national and international events. As the next phase of the Anopa project prepares to get underway, the focus will remain on providing holistic development opportunities for children with disabilities, ensuring they have access to sports, education, and other essential services. Fred Smith for Joy News.
President of the Apostolic Church of Ghana, Apostle Dr. Aaron Amina, has made a clarion call for Christians to purge themselves with the undiluted Word of God, describing the church as sick. He was speaking at the ordination of pastors and apostles at the Apostolic Retreat Center here in Accra. More in this report.
The Apostolic Church Ghana has ordained 35 apostles, pastors, and evangelists. The event was attended by a multitude of church members, dignitaries, and well-wishers who gathered to witness the official commencement of a new ministration for the church. Speaking to the media, the president of the Apostolic Church Ghana, Apostle Dr. Aaron Amina, says the church is fast losing its focus of producing the quality of Christians that are needed, and underscored the need for the church to rise up to the occasion. He reiterated that the church is sick and needs healing with the undiluted Word of God.
The church itself is like a spiritual hospital, okay, where people come with all sorts of diseases, yes, and then Jesus Christ, who is the chief healer, heals us spiritually, emotionally, physically, and in all ways, okay. But the church system itself is diseased now, okay, where the church is fast losing its focus. And the church is not producing the kind of Christian it should produce. And that's why as a nation, we have many Christians, but we are facing a problem. It's a way of seeing things go back to the Word of God.
He further added that if Christians will seek the righteousness of God, a lot of things will change.
If Christians in Ghana will seek the righteousness of God, we won't be where we are. Okay, and so for me, we should change the sight and the sound, the kind of light we have from the pulpit, the kind of sound we have from the pulpit. If we begin to change that and we are consistent enough, if you do something just in one day, it's not going to produce the result. You know, there are medications that you have to take after a certain regime over a period of time. And this is a chronic disease. If we aim at getting healed and being the kind of salt of the earth and light to this world that we have to be, God will make it possible.
Moving on, Municipal Chief Imam of Alusuna Wal Jamaa in Techiman has admonished politicians to stay away from beating war drums in the build-up to the 2024 general elections. The Imam, who was speaking on the sidelines of the Eid al-Adha prayers in Techiman, also cautioned Muslim youth against being involved in violence acts and advised them to stay away from massing up at collation centers with the aim of perpetrating violence on election day. Anas Sabit has more.
The celebration of Eid al-Adha festival is to commemorate Prophet Abraham's devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as his readiness to sacrifice his son Ismail. At the very point of that sacrifice, the Almighty Allah replaced Ishmael with a ram. Muslims have since been obliged to, slaughter such animals as an obedience to the Almighty Allah. And today, at the Jericho Community Day Senior High School's field, where members of Ahlus Sunnah Wal Jamaa within the Techiman municipality observed this day, the municipal Imam Idris Suleiman has been cautioning, Ghanaians in general to stay away from beating war drums as we lace our boots ahead of the electioneering season. He says such moves is capable of, bringing chaos across the country. Let's listen to what the Imam has been saying in relation to this development.
My message for the Muslims is that this country is the only country that we have, and we cannot go to anywhere apart from here. So I'm appealing to the public that nobody should do anything that will bring any riot in this country. Because, we have old ladies, old men who are in rooms, they are in their rooms. If we are running away, they cannot run away. So I'm also appealing to the political parties. Those beating war drums should stop. They should stop beating that war drums and then do their clean campaign. We should campaign. Anybody who wins the election will be given chance to rule the country. So nobody should beat any war drum.
He also sent a word of caution, particularly to Muslim youth ahead of the elections. He says, Muslims should stay away from involving or engaging themselves into acts of violence. He said the youth should stay away from collating at the various coalition centers during, chaos. A move, he said, wouldn't be able to change whatever is expected to happen at the said centers.
When they say there is trouble somewhere, you go there, you see that it is Muslim boys, the youth who are bringing that troubles. I'm appealing to you that you shouldn't do what you are not concerned. What it is not your business, don't do it. It isn't your business going to the coalition center to do. If you do anything, if you go there, they won't give you pen to write. So don't go there. So this is what I'm appealing to the youth. You shouldn't do that. When somebody is saying that maybe they are going to cheat us and you are going, if you go there, you can't change anything. So don't go there. This is my advice to the youth.
So this is what we've gathered here at the Jacko Community Senior High School's field, where members of Ahlus Sunnah Al-Jama'ah observed this year's Eid al-Adha. For Joy News, my name is Anas Sabit, reporting.
Away from that, Chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Education, Winneba Nenyi Gate VII, is calling for a collective action to combat climate change and also preserve the country's environment. According to him, sustainable practices such as reducing waste, adopting renewable energy sources, and conserving water should be integrated into daily lives of Ghanaians. Speaking at the graduation ceremony at the university, he highlighted the crucial role of educational institutions in fostering environmental stewardship, encouraging students and faculty to lead by example in their communities. There's more in this report.
The graduation ceremony saw students bag several degrees, including PhDs. The chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Education, Winneba, Nenyi Gate VII, emphasized that environmental sustainability is essential for the future of Ghana and should be woven into the lives of the people.
This congregation is a celebration not just of the graduates' accomplishments, but of your shared journey as a community. Environmental sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, environmental sustainability is not just a choice, it is an imperative for the future of Ghana. We must all take collective action to combat climate change and preserve our nation's rich cultural heritage. Sustainable practices should be woven into the fabric of our daily lives. This means reducing waste, adopting renewable energy sources, and conserving water. Educational institutions like ours have a pivotal role to play in nurturing a culture of environmental stewardship. I urge our students and faculty to lead by example in their communities.
Deputy Minister of Education, John Ntim-Fojo, called for support for government education policies and urged the country to collectively own the policies being put in place.
The role of education in our nation building is crucial, very critical, and cannot be overemphasized. Much so as our continent is a youthful one, and much so as Ghana is a youthful country. And therefore, we all as a country must be proud at the transformation that we are seeing in our education system. When we are making progress collectively as a country, we must resist the temptation of politicizing it and ensuring that we give the collective credit to the country, to our noble teachers, our parents, our learners who themselves are applying themselves to academic excellence and to want to do more. University of Education Winneba as an institution, and many individuals, professors, doctors, researchers from this institution have supported the Ministry of Education heavily in arriving at the transformation we see today. Much as we recognize the contribution of other researchers and scholars across the country and our teachers, we must be proud that we are making strides in our education system.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Education Winneba, Professor Stephen Jobson Mitchell, was upbeat that the quality of the graduate the university is churning out would help build a resilient human resource base for the country.
I want to reaffirm that the University of Education Winneba, with its core mission of training competent professional teachers for all educational levels, is deeply committed to the objectives of the new SHS curriculum and will wholeheartedly support its implementation. Now is the time to support the development of your community and of your nation. Dear graduates, let me emphasize an essential point. The foundation of a modern career is networking. Build your social capital, engage with people, and form meaningful connections. This is not only vital for career building, but also life building.
Professor Mitchell also urged the students to make network a part of their tools as they step into the world of work. Abdallah Osman's report read to you.
And that's it for the AM News. Up next is a news review segment. Today we don't have newspapers, so we go online and look at all the various news portals. Stick and stay. I'll be right back.